Mr. Bascunyo, you are welcome. We will begin with introduction. The secretariat team led by the clerk to introduce themselves.
I'm Abdullahi Dayib Hussein, the clerk to the Assembly of Tana River. I am with the committee secretariat. Kindly introduce yourselves.
Ali Galole Salat, Sergeant at Arms.
I'm Mashembo Balo, Senior Legal Counsel.
David Wakomaro, Clerk Assistant.
Zainab Omar, Research Officer.
Honorable members, starting from Honorable Riziki to introduce themselves.
Afternoon. I'm Riziki Amaro Ruhu, nominated MCA Garissa North.
Maka Maimuna Mohammed, nominated MCA, member to this committee.
Fatuma Badada, nominated MCA.
Musa Wario, MCA representing Kipini West, member of this committee.
Afternoon, I'm Ismail Kodobo, member of County Assembly representing the great people of Rimani Ward.
Afternoon, everyone. My name is Hamid Babusa Salim, member of County Assembly representing the great people of Kinakomba Ward, and also the Deputy Majority Leader. And therefore, for the interest of the public, I'm also the chair to the department of which the nominee is being vetted. Thank you.
My names are Bila Yusuf, member representing Chewele Ward.
Good afternoon. My name is Mahmoud Ali, MCA representing Sala Ward. Thank you.
It's almost evening. Good evening. Yeah, my name is Rhoda Katisha, member of this committee and also the Deputy Speaker.
Good afternoon again. My name is Osman Nur Galole. I'm the Speaker and the Chair of this committee. I will now ask the Senior Counsel to administer the oath to the nominee.
I, Abbas Kunyanguyo, do swear by Almighty God that the information I shall give to the committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Thank you. We can now proceed. Mr. Abbas Kunyo, I want to inform you that the time allocated for your interview or vetting is 1 hour. So when questions are addressed or posed to you, you should be having that in mind, that the allocated time is 1 hour. So make adequate use of that time that has been allocated. Now, let me begin. Tell us about yourself, Mr. Abbas Kunyo. Before you even respond to that one, kindly confirm to the committee that indeed the person who is before this committee is Abbas Kunyo.
Okay, I confirm that the person before you is Abbas Kunyo. I have the identification cards with me here.
Thank you. Now tell us about yourself, Mr. Abbas Kunyo.
Thank you, the chairman and the speaker for the county assembly. My name is Abbas Kunyo Guyo. I was born on 7th December 1966 in Tana River at a place called Madogo. I went to school in Morora Primary School. First of all, I want to thank my parent for taking me to school, because that time is not like today, that education is free and compulsory. And then secondary school, I attended Hola Boys, Hola Secondary School from 1982 to 1985. Thereafter, I got opportunity to attend to a teacher's training college at Asumbi. That is from 1987 to 1989. Then I was employed as a teacher, and I got an opportunity to serve as a teacher for 7 years, as a deputy head teacher for 3 years, as a head teacher for 1 year, between 1989 to 1996 to 99. And then from 2000 up to 2013, I served as a TSC tutor, or education officer in charge of education matters. And then from 2013 October, I got opportunity to work. I served as a CEC member in charge of education, youth and sports, culture, gender, and social services. I'm married to 5 children. I'm married and I have 5 children.
As well noted. Kindly also tell us your net worth.
My net worth is 15.4 million. Those are the assets I have. I said 15.4 million.
Thank you. I'll now give a chance to Honorable Katisha to ask a question.
Yeah, karibu once again, Mr. Abbas. My one question is, considering that you've been the CC member of CC member for the last 5 years. Why should you be given another opportunity to serve in this position? In other words, I'm asking you to tell us what you have done to warrant you get this job back.
Thank you so much. I served for the last 5 years as a county executive member for education, youth, sports, culture, gender, and social services. And I feel that I have the qualification, first of all, for the requirements of being a CC member. Secondly, during my tenure in those 5 years, I actually had achievements which are visible. One, in the ECD sector, when I went there, I found teachers who are working on a contract. That is every 1 year, their contract is being renewed. That is from 2014 until 2018. So when I came to office, I knew that for us to perform in the education sector, we need to have a motivated civil servants or teachers. For that case, they need motivation. And one way to motivate a teacher is to have them good remuneration. So I initiated that those teachers be absorbed on permanent and pensionable terms. Of course, those who are serving, those who are qualified and competent in that area. So that one has happened. And as of now, we have about 200 teachers who are permanent and pensionable. That one motivated the teachers. Secondly, there was no trainings or capacity building in the first regime for those teachers. So when I came there, what we did is to capacity build teachers. Every financial year, we ensure that our teachers are being capacity built because education, there is a lot of reforms in education. And even recently, we have a CBC. So we needed to capacity build our teachers on the new methods and the new approaches of teaching. Also, I tried to improve the infrastructure in the ECD sector. I know in the first regime, quite a number of infrastructure classrooms were built. But still, we up to now experience so many centers or ECD centers which do not have the infrastructure in place. You'll find some centers without classrooms. So every year in our budget, we ensure that at least we put some classrooms. Also, it is mandated by the Constitution that we offer nutrition, food and nutrition in our ECD centers. So for the first time, when you came to office, I ensured that our children get a school feeding program. And just to begin with, I ensured that our children got the best. We supplied milk. Milk is a balanced diet for the children. So I ensure that service has been done, despite the challenges of the consistency in supplying of those foodstuff. Also, I tried to make sure that at least I changed the policy of construction of classrooms. When I went there, I found that classes are just constructed, let's say, one class. But I know that for a school to stand with the required standards, it must have also sanitation facility. So what I did, I changed the policy that when we do any construction in any ECD center, we offer 2 classrooms, an office for the teacher, a store for the center, and a toilet for the children and for the teacher. That one, we have changed it, and it has happened. When I go to the issues of policies, I didn't find any policy to refer to except the bursary, the Fund Act. That's the only act I found there. But what I did, the first I did is to make the bursary regulation, which I did, and it's in place. A copy is here. And then that is the bursary regulation for 2018. And also, I did ECD policy. Remember, I said that we need to provide infrastructure for our children. And for us to improve in education, we must offer quality education. When we talk of quality, it means we should have optimum number of teachers in a class. The policy for the ratio for child ratio is 1 teacher is to 25 children. But come to our situation in Tana River, you find that we have more children, but the teachers are inadequate. The ratio stands now at 1 teacher to 80 children. So for us to come out of this, because the major challenge that we have in education is budgetary implications. So what I did, I have to do policies. These policies will ensure consistency in budget allocation. So I have done ECD policy document. And that policy, I've been pushing it through. Until last 2 weeks ago, it was approved by the cabinet. And very soon, if God wishes, if you give me this opportunity to serve again, that document will be presented to the Assembly for approval. So that ECD policy document will ensure that we offer quality education, optimal number of teachers in each center, that there are resources that can be got. Because I know there is a budgetary implication, but the policy will ensure that we can mobilize resources. If you go to the sector for the vocational training center, the VTC, I found the VTC where the youth of this county have negative perspective towards vocational training center. They see it as an area for failures. So when I came there, I found 250 students against 6 VTCs. So what I did is I tried to change the norm by capacity building, by sensitizing the youth and even the people of Tana River that we need to offer skills development for our children. So right away, we have turned it. Now the population for the vocational training center has increased from 250 to over 1,000. Some of the strategies that we undertook is to have graduation ceremonies, and also we did what we call starter kit. We have our students undertaking various trades or courses. So once they graduate, we give them a starter kit. If the student has been doing a welding course, we give him a welding machine. That one has happened publicly through graduation ceremonies, and that one has improved. Secondly, I found VTCs which are unfairly distributed in the county. We had out of 6, 4 in Tana Delta, 1 in Tana River here, Galole, and 1 in Tana North, in Bora. How do you imagine a youth from Madogo, from Aldena, from Kipini, to access those centers? So what we did, we added more. We increased the number. Like Madogo, we have a VTC now operational. At Kipini, we have 1 VTC. At Bangali and at Waldena, it has been constructed but yet to open. So we have made fair distribution of those resources. Our intention is to have at least a VTC in every center. Again, at that center of the youth, I did a youth policy document. In 2018, when I came to office, I found that the youth are so miserable. You find that they lack skills, they don't have the requisite skills, they don't have. So what I did, I made sure that I make a youth policy document. That policy document see to it that the youth, their challenges are addressed and their needs are taken care of. So I feel that there are so many gaps. I've done a lot. That is just 2 areas I mentioned. If you go to youth and sports, I did some playgrounds in each of the 15 wards. And also additionally, last financial year, 3 more. And also we did a stadium, which is yet to be completed here at Hola Stadium. And also we did a county tournament, that is sometimes in 2019. That one is just to motivate our youth so that they are able to be engaged in activities. When you go to gender, gender is very critical. That sector, the gender was not, it was not visible. It was very silent. But then I tried to restructure the organization structure of that department by putting that directorate of gender. And that one has seen many things happening. A sensitization of our girls about the negative retrogressive cultural activities, ending of FGM. We did an action plan, which is already documented. I have a copy here. We did a gender policy document. That document is still in the process. So you find that there are many things I've done, but still there are many gaps, despite the effort that I've done. So because I've done these policies, and I feel that if I continue serving in that docket, I'll be able to make sure that we offer the best for our youth and the children of Tana River County.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Abbas, for that response. Mheshimiwa, it's your turn.
Thank you, Chair. Waziri, which strategies are you going to use to increase enrollment in vocational training centers within the county?
Okay, thank you, Mheshimiwa. Okay, I've just mentioned briefly here, to increase the enrollment in the VTCs, the method that we have used and we are still using is that we have graduation ceremonies. Initially, you find that students just go to polytechnics, nobody knows what they do there. So now what we do is that after the end of the course, we do publicly graduation ceremonies for all the VTCs. That one at least shows the youth outside that there is value in those centers. Secondly, I said we offer a starter kit. In fact, this is very unique. Other counties are wondering how that one is happening. You know, because of our low enrollment, we are able to offer a starter kit to our graduates. So once they graduate, they go and start up their business. Other counties, it doesn't happen because of their big number. But also we said in the future, if the number grows, we can put them in cluster so that we offer them in groups the same starter kit for them to continue. And also another strategy is to improve the facilities. We have invested a lot of resources in improving our VTCs by equipping them with modern tools and equipment. When I went there in 2018, I found that low quality tailoring machine, the butterfly one. Go to the center now and see the kind of machine that is there. The tailoring machine there is now modern. It's modern, semi-electronic. And we ensure that we offer courses according to the market demand. And then we have also done talent development, the empowerment. That center there at Hola VTC is going to serve the youth of this county. So what we have done, we are trying to put boarding wing in those VTCs. We've started here already at Hola VTC. We have now, currently speaking, we have the youth, male and female, already being hosted there in the wings. And already we put in a budget for this year, 13 million, to have a modern hostel there. In fact, it's going to be a story building. Next financial year, we are putting another 13 million, so that one can now improve that modern facility there. So that one will ensure that youth from across the county, they'll be able to come to Hola, Center for Innovation and Youth Empowerment, and get the education or skill development in various sectors. Also, another thing that we did is that we have already put in the budget for this financial year one bus, a 45, 47-seater bus, which is going to operate there. But again, we have factored in the next financial year budget that we are going to have now a big bus, a 67-seater. That bus is going to not only serve the VTCs, but also serve the youth in this county. So those are some of the strategies that, that we have undertaken. And also, what we do, when the youth complete, we don't just leave them go like that. What we do, we monitor, we track. Those who graduate, we track to see whether they are continuing with, whether they have got employed or whether they are doing the various skills like the, as I said, the business or not. So we do track them. So that one has seen the enrollment increase.
Chair, second question. Waziri, we were together with you last month in a place called Subo, Strogasura, in my ward. Opening of local vocational training there. And that day, we've seen the condition of the ECD classes in that school, of which you promised to construct a classroom there. I want you to confirm to this committee that it is in your supplementary budget. Second question, thirdly, I mean, Kamude village is 4 to 5 kilometers from Jajabu, within OECD center. What measure are you in place to make sure that kids don't go that much far for ECD? Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, true that we are together at Subo for a function there, and I witnessed that our ECD children there, they lack a proper classroom. It was it's a semi-permanent structure. And I assured the public there that we are going to have that center constructed. And when I came back, I did during the SFSP, I factored it in the priorities for the ECDs to be constructed in the next financial year. For now, supplementary budget, it is already overstretched. I cannot promise construction for this. In fact, this financial year, we never had budget for construction of ECD centers. So that one, I will assure you, in the next financial year, it has been factored. And also, to ensure that children don't go long distance, according to the policy just I've just said, the ECD policy document, and even the national pre-primary education policy, it says that no child should move more than 2 kilometers to access the ECD. But then, for us, as just I said, the major barrier to us offering quality education in this county is the budget. And that's what I said, that every time we prepare the budget, we find that the budget that is approved is not sufficient. If you look at the number of the population of our ECD children vis-a-vis infrastructure, the classrooms, you'll find that there's yet a very big gap. That means that every year we should continue constructing classrooms. So what we are saying, this policy document that I prepared, this policy will ensure that we have consistency. It becomes a commitment to the county. Just like the bursary act, that one, there's no time that money will not be there. Every time, every year, it has to be there. So just because of that act. So this policy document for the ECD will ensure that it becomes a commitment to us that we have to offer quality education, and we have to make sure that children don't move long distance. That means we have to offer centers. And also we suggested even to give, because of the nature of the environment, we even made a proposal of mobile centers. For example, Tana River sometimes, due to the disasters, either the flood disaster or the harsh climatic condition, people used to move from, people are being displaced. So we said that we also propose for these mobile structures which are cost effective in order to address the issue of children moving long distance. So for us to come out of this problem, we have to ensure that we take education as a priority. I remember when I came to the office in 2019, I took the Waishimiwa for the education committee for a benchmark in Kwale, Mombasa, and even Kilifi. If you go to a county like Kwale, you find that education is a priority. It is the one that gets the largest budget. It's a priority. But then, is education a priority here? Because the challenge we have is that people have negative attitudes towards education in this county. People don't see education as a key area that it needs. It's an investment. If you want to improve the livelihoods of the people, educate them. Let them get the requisite education, and you will see it as an investment. At one time, Makueni is almost similar to Tana River in terms of climatic condition. It's dry. But then people of Makueni have invested in education as an investment. So until we, Tana people, decide to take education as an investment, we put education a key, then it will take us longer to get out of the problem. But I do suggest that with these policies that I've put in place, I've got so many policies which have been initiated for all the sectors, for ECD, for youth, for gender. It is there. And those policies will change things.
Waziri, lastly, ECD teachers, are they still in contract basis or they're in permanent?
Not all ECD teachers are permanent. Out of about 357 teachers, 200 are permanent and pensionable, and about 100 teachers, 150 were on contract because they never met the qualification. For a teacher to qualify, he has to be trained, he has to have a TSC number. But you find that most of our ECD teachers, those that I'm talking, they don't have the qualification. They have not, they don't have the ECD certificate, they don't have the, so they have not qualified. So what we are doing, we have informed them in 2019 that we are going to gradually phase out those teachers who are unqualified. So right away, we are going to phase out the 100 teachers. In fact, they were to phase out by December last year, but then because the Public Service Board, they didn't do the adverts in time to replace them, we asked for more time for renewal of contract. So right away, by end of this April, those teachers will have finished their terms, and by when the school opens in May, we expect another team. So not all teachers in this county are permanent. We have the contract ones. But in future, we want to do away with issues of contracts. It's not my making, it is the issue of policy. When we talk of quality education, then it means there must be a teacher, a trained teacher teaching. It will be unworth to talk of quality education when the teacher is unqualified, is not trained. Mheshimiwa.
Yeah, Mheshimiwa, the Chair, Education.
Thank you, Chair. Abbas Kunyo Guyo. Name the areas of education that fall under the jurisdiction of the national government.
Thank you, the chairman for education committee. The chairman for the education committee. Thank you for the question. The areas that fall under jurisdiction of the national government matters in education is the primary education, the secondary education, and the universities, and the TVET.
Waziri, what is the professional relationship between you and the chief officer of that department that you are nominated into? The professional relationship between you and the chief officer to that department that you are nominated into.
Okay, Mheshimiwa, you talked of professional relationship.
Yes, Bwana Waziri.
Okay, professionally, me, I'm a teacher by profession, and I went to University of Nairobi. I didn't mention that time, the University of Nairobi, the first degree from 204 up to 208, and second degree, the master's degree, I graduated in 2014. So, professionally, I'm a teacher, and I have been, all along, I've been dealing with education issues. But the chief officer, I don't know whether you're asking the specific one that already I'm working with, but the chief officer is a technocrat in that given area, is a technical person. For this case, professionally, the chief officer is also a teacher by profession.
We're done.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, if you can allow me to rephrase again that question. Bwana Waziri, I was asking, or maybe I asked, and maybe then I put it this way. I think you've served as the Cecm in the Department of Education for the last 5 years. So during that time, so what is your professional relationship between you as the Waziri to that Department of Education and the Chief Officer? Thank you.
In other words, the Chair of Education is asking you the working relation between you and your Chief Officer. And kindly be brief, time is not with us.
The working relationship is good because everybody, we are guided by the law. So the relationship is good. Everybody undertakes the responsibilities as by the regulation and the law. So the relationship is good.
Chair, I think I've just taken a few minutes. If you can allow me to add just 2 short questions. Thank you. Waziri, the TSC have this inspectorate body known as Curriculum Support Officers. And I think among the roles of these officers is to advise and also discipline teachers when maybe they are sleeping on their roles as teachers. And I think you know that ECD is devolved, and there are these ECD teachers who happen to be employed by the county government. Do you have any inspectorate body that help you in advising and also disciplining the SO teachers when they sleep on their roles? And if no, what plans do you have to make sure the SO inspectorate body is in place? Thank you.
Okay, Mheshimiwa, we have, with the ECD being devolved, we have the ECD coordinators. These coordinators are in each of the sub-counties, the 3 sub-counties, the big ones. But we in our structure, we propose that we also need to have the zonal ECD officers at ward level. I mean the ward officers at ward level. In future, we're going to achieve that. But at one time, we even did advertise a position on quality assurance and the standards officers. And we had 6 positions. My intention is to have at least 2 per sub-county that time. That was in 2019. For purpose of carrying out supervision, monitoring, and advisory to the teachers. But then, when we did the advert, we didn't get qualified officers to undertake that position because the indent talks of ECD graduate teachers, ECD graduates, officers. But then by that time, there was no graduate ECD who applied for that position, so it went like that. But also, the ECD sector is undergoing reforms. You find that even in the ECD, just recently, that we had the schemes of service. So it never had the schemes of service. So you find that even in quality assurance, we don't have that one in ECDs. But we are trying to collaborate with the national government so that we can do the supervision as we visit schools, because most of our centers are within primary schools. So we work together so that as we go to the centers, we can also do the inspection, the assessment, and the advice to the teachers in the county. So that is a proposal. It is already in place that in future, first of all, we shall have officers at ward level so that they can be able to monitor.
Through the chair, being the chair of education, the committee of education in the assembly, I have many questions to ask, but because of the interest of time, I'll ask Bwana Waziri the last question. Waziri, I think you know that we have this ward bursary funds that in a year is supposed to be around 10 million per ward. And then we have the executive board on the side of the executive that deals with the disbursement of this bursary. But Bwana Waziri, during your 5 years in the Office of Education, we had a lot of cases of looting of these bursary funds. Are you aware of that? And if yes, what measures have you taken as the Cecm of that department during that time to curb this mismanagement of bursary funds? Thank you.
I'm aware that we have a ward bursary fund, 10 million per ward. For the 15 wards, 150 million per year. And that we have the board, the Tana River County Bursary Board in place. But in the structure is that at the ward level, we have the ward committees. And the ward committees are the ones who receive applications. They go through it, they analyze the needs of the applicants, then they make a decision, they make a minutes, and then they bring the proposals to the board for processing of checks. So the whole process begins at the ward. But as the CEC in charge of education, I said I did a regulation, the bursary regulation, 2018. And the bursary regulation, that one, it ensures that the loopholes, because I found there are loopholes. So I made sure that I have prepared that regulation to fill those gaps. And the issue is that at the formation of the committees, in the regulation it's very clear. I say that there is a panel to establish the committee. But then that regulation has not been followed. You find that the ward committees are just, they are appointed at ward level. Of course, the Waheshimiwa are in charge as the patron. But then the regulation stipulates very clearly, even with the Education Act, just like the county, the county education board, even the board of managements, you find that there is a panel, a small panel, that sits and decides or nominates depending on a given criteria of the composition of that particular committee. So that regulation, I did it, but it didn't get the blessing of the assembly. I remember those Waheshimiwa who were there in place. Remember when we came together, there were some areas that were not clear, we didn't agree. So it is for that reason that today I have already done, I'm already planning a meeting. It's already in the process that we sit with the Waheshimiwa, we go through the regulation and see where we need to put clear things we can do, put clear. So that regulation it does. If that is followed, then this issue of money getting lost will not happen. In the policy, the regulation, we said, once the committee sits at the ward level, what they do, they publicize the document, the awards, the proposals, and the public notices at the ward. And they stay for 1 week in the North Board, so that any complaints by the public be addressed at ward level. And if there is any complaint, then there is a provision in the Act, the bursary regulation, which we said that you can make appeal to the board from the ward level. If there is issue not settled at ward level, then an appeal can be made to the bursary board so that we can rectify that problem. So what I'm saying is that if this regulation is fully implemented, I don't think there should be those loopholes. Secondly, if anybody violates the regulation or the act, then he's tantamount to face the law. So cases of bursary mismanagement that came across me, I stood firm and ensured that even where multi-agency is required to investigate, we did that. We are open. We did that. They investigate, and the culprit, if found, taken action against. So as a Waziri, I have done my part for the regulations. Anybody not following the regulation, then I take the necessary action, including the multi-agency of law enforcement.
Thank you, Chair, and also as the Chair of Education Committee to the Assembly, I'd like to take this opportunity and wish the nominee all the best, and also tell him that if in case he goes through this process and then he managed to be reinstated again as the CEC of that department, I'm assuring him that I'll work closely with him so that at least to improve the levels of education in the county. Thank you.
Honorable members and the nominee, at the rate at which we are moving, we might be forced to sit until midnight. So I'm reiterating again, let us be brief, and when you respond, Mr. Abbas, you also be brief, please, and to the point, kindly. We need to move fast, and the others who are also waiting. Honorable Ismail Kodobo.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, mine is just to ask Waziri. He has talked about the quality assurance and standards officers at the Department of Early Education. These vacancies were advertised. I think, is it 2 years or this? Now I think it's 2 years now. And there was an interview that was done, and those vacancies are yet to be filled. And the answer that he gave, Honorable Speaker, for not appointing those quality assurance officers is that the qualification was ECD graduates. But Honorable Speaker, we are in this county and we have seen even a teacher by profession who is currently the Chief Officer for Health. We have seen, Honorable Speaker, a CPA, people with CPA, Honorable Speaker, currently are serving in the departments of environment. So can the nominee tell us why the quality assurance and standard officers of the Department of Early Childhood should be ECD graduates? Because we have graduates in many fields here. One of them, Honorable Speaker, is the nominee himself, was a P1 teacher. He has maneuvered, he has masters now. There's so many elites outside there with their degrees. Does it mean that they cannot run this department? That is my first question. Then the second question is about the bursaries that is being mishandled. And the answer that the nominee gave, Honorable Chair, he talked about the regulations. He said that when these regulations should be followed to the latter, then these misappropriations of fund could not be there. I want to confirm to this House, I was in the second assembly. The nominee came with a regulation, proposal of a regulation that was rejected by this House. I think it is 2018. The regulation, if we follow the regulation, Honorable Speaker, that regulation that the nominee is talking about, it will repeal even the act. And in real sense, in the law, the regulation should not supersede the act. So as we are speaking, the nominee confirmed to this House that there's a regulation in place. But regulation cannot be regulation if it is not approved by this House. So I want to tell the nominee that we don't have regulation, the bursary regulation in place. So my question is what he said. You said that you have got 200, you have 300 ECD teachers, of which 200 are permanent. I don't know whether I have heard you right. Honorable nominee, I've talked several times about the ECD in the far flank of my ward in El Neka village that was constructed in 2019. We have children there. Over 50 are there in that village. You've not sent a ECD teacher. And whenever I came to your office and the office of the chief officer, the claim was the shortage of teachers. If you have 300 teachers, why are those children from my ward not getting the basic education that has been enshrined in the Constitution? Then my last question, Honorable Chair. In your submission, you said that you have established playgrounds in each and every ward in this county. I don't know whether you are aware that in my ward, Hirmani, there is no playground. If it is, kindly confirm to this committee the location and the village where that playground is. So you've also talked about the feeding program. Can you tell this noble committee how many times in a year have you given food, any kind of food, be it milk, be it grains, to the ECDs of this county? Thank you.
Waziri, I hope you've gotten the honorable member for Irimani clearly. There are, I think, 4 or 5 questions in one. On the quality assurance, the second one was on the bursary regulation, whether that regulation is in place and who approved it. Was it the House or it was at your discretion? And then the other one was on the employment of the ECD teachers and the playground as well. Kindly be brief on those 4 or 5 questions, please.
Okay, thank you. On the issue of the quality assurance and standards, I remember I said that we did the advert, and in the indent says ECD graduates. So when the advert was made, there was no single ECD graduate applicant who met the qualification. But then, after that, you find that just like the scheme of service, which was just recently done for the whole counties, the issue of quality assurance, up to now speaking, the COG, the Council of Governors, are yet to make a decision of what type of quality assurance and standards are supposed to be in the counties. So we kept silent because of the standardization. We cannot do something different from what other counties are doing. So issue of quality assurance, there's no single county with quality and assurance standards officers in this country. It was our proposal as a department to do the monitoring and supervision by that time. But after that, because of that, we are yet to get guidance from the COG. Secondly, issue of bursary regulation. It is the responsibility of the Waziri in charge of education to prepare the regulation and then get approval. So I did my part on the regulation, and then I said I presented to the Waishimo, but then it was not approved. And if you remember, I mentioned just a few minutes ago that I have already done preparation for a consultative meeting with especially the education committee, of which I will present the regulation, we discuss, and then we have it approved. So I was saying, if the regulation is in place and implemented, cases of mismanagement of bursary funds won't be there. And issues of not sports is for transparency and accountability. So that one will reduce. If it is there at the world level and it stays for a week, it will reduce that suspicion of money laundering in the ECDs, in the bursary. About the employment of teachers, I said the number of teachers I mentioned, over 300, that number is not sufficient. We are facing understaffing in almost all the schools in this county. The ratio, according to the policy, is 1 teacher to 25 children. But I said the situation today is 1 teacher to 80 children. That means that we are facing very high shortage of teachers in the county. So, Waziri, when I say over 300 teachers, that number is insufficient. It's not adequate. That we are intending to have teachers in every center, at least 2, 3, or even 4 teachers, depending on the enrollment. Playgrounds, it was the plan of the department to ensure that every ward gets a playground. But I remember the case of Hirimani. It was the tender was given, the contractor even went to the site, but then he did it wrongly. He placed that jukwa at the center of the field. It couldn't work. So, and we had a multi-sectoral team. We went there and we discussed, and there was a minute for that one, and we ensured that that be demolished, and then the contractor builds afresh. So it was done, but it was demolished so that the contractor does it the right way. About the school feeding program, the budgetary need for this education department to make sure that our children get food every day is 60 million. But you find that the budget that is allocated is 20 million. 20 million cannot sustain our children in provision of meals throughout the year. So we get 20 million, that one is just not even a full term. Milk is expensive. Milk, it doesn't take even a full term in Asia. So we sit and wait for another budget. That's why I said, as a CEC in charge of education, in order to minimize the problem, we have the policy. That policy will ensure that at least resources are allocated the budget so that we can sustain the meals program in our centers. So it's not my making, it's the making of budgetary constants of the county.
Chair, I would like to ask Waziri, how many ECD centers do we have in this county? And the second question is about the shortage of teachers. If there is a shortage of teachers, why are you planning to construct more ECDs than employing the teachers? Because in 2023-2024 budget, you're also planning to put some ECD centers, and yet you are complaining of shortage of teachers. Then I think that one is misplaced opportunity, because you cannot construct a school without teachers. Currently in my ward, there is that school that was built in constructed in 2019, and yet you've not taken a teacher there. So why are you adding classrooms while you know there's shortage of teachers?
Okay, Your Excellency, the number of schools in this county, the ACD centers, is about 330 centers. And then the issue of infrastructure. What we are saying, our needs are many, but the budget is limited. So we cannot stop planning to construct because we need, these children are supposed, they are young, they are growing. They need at least to be in a classroom. So we cannot say because we have a shortage of teachers, then we cannot build classes. But we are saying it's gradual. We request budgetary for building a few number of classes. At the same time, we have to employ teachers. But Your Mheshimiwa, the gap of teachers in this county is too big. It's about, we have about 350 teachers, but we have a gap, we need about 1,000 teachers. Look at that gap. It's quite big. There's no way we can just overcome that problem in one financial year. It has to be gradual because there are also other needs. So that's why we have to request for budgetary for construction. At the same time, other utilities have to be undertaken. This year, we never had a budget for construction. This year, we requested for it, but we never got. So that is how the situation is.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I think you've heard that in this county we can go on constructing classrooms whether there is teachers or no teachers. So the department, I think Honorable Chair for Education is listening. So that was my concern, and I wish our able Waziri good luck. Thank you.
Leader of Minority, proceed.
Asante mwenyekiti, nami ningependa kuuliza swali waziri. Waziri, nafikiri Mheshimiwa Kodobo alikuuliza swali. Alikuuliza swali kwamba tuko na shule ya chekechea ngapi katika kaunti yetu. Na ulijibu ukasema kwamba iko takriban 330. Swali langu ni, je, hizo 330 ni ile mjengo ambayo kwamba tayari ishajengwa iko kama shule ya chekechea ama ni ile registered ECD? Maana kuna ile registered ambayo kwamba haina mjengo. Kuna ile tayari imejengwa. Sasa utufafanulie ni ipi inamaanisha hiyo 330. Lingine bwana waziri, nafikiri mara mwisho kwenda kule mashinani na watu wako nafikiri sikumbuki, lakini wewe utatuambia ni lini. Lakini ukiangalia kule mashinani shule nyingi ya chekechea tayari zimebomoka. Kwa kimombo wanasema kwamba it was condemned, kwamba watu wasisome tena hapa, imeachwa, imekuwa mahame. Mfano shule kama Ndaraku, lingine kama Tara. Na waziri, la kushangaza zaidi, sijui hawa contractor wakati mnapeana hawa wanakandarasi wafanye hizi kazi, mnatumia kriteria gani kupeana hizi kandarasi? Maana mnapeana wanakandarasi wafanye kandarasi wajenge shule ya chekechea, lakini wanachimba msingi. Baada ya kuchimba msingi kumaliza wanaenda zao. Mfano mwema nakwambia nakupatia ni kwamba ukienda Sahila ilioni ECD na Chamanamuma ECD, mwanakandarasi amechimba msingi miaka 2.5 iliyopita, ameenda zake. Nilipojaribu kufanya utafiti na uchunguzi, niliambiwa kwamba huyu mwanakandarasi tayari ashalipwa. Waziri, huwa utalipaje mtu ambaye kwamba kazi hajafanya? Kwani mnatumia kriteria gani ama mbinu gani kuwalipa wanakandarasi? Ama waziri, utuambie kwamba mbele hii committee kwamba nyinyi kazi mnafanya under pressure, mnapewa instruction, ama kama waziri wewe ndio unajiamulia? Maana haina haja tuje tukufanyie vetting hapa mahojiano wewe kama waziri, lakini baadaye ukitoka hapa nje tukikupatia hii kazi unaenda kushauriana na mtu, unaambiwa fanya ABCD, lakini wewe uweni na maoni yako. Ndiposa utaona kwamba mnapeana kazi wanakandarasi ambao kwamba hawajahitimu, hawana uwezo. Kwa hivyo swali langu ile ambayo kwamba tayari nimechanganya ni maswali mawili. So ile ECD ni ngapi, ile tuambie kwamba ni ipi imejengwa na ipi registered, na hizi kazi ambayo kwamba imekwama katikati itamalizika lini? Endapo tukupatia hii nafasi, utatuambia kwamba tayari wewe ulikuwa waziri, utatuambia hii kazi itakuja kuisha lini, na zile tayari zimebomoka, zimekuwa condemned, nyingine zimepasuka ukuta, zingine mabati kule juu zimeongoka na zimepeperushwa na upepo. Je, mtafanyia ukarabati lini? Kwa hayo bwana Spika, yangu yacha ya kuwa hayo mawili. Asante.
Asante mheshimiwa kwa maswali. Idadi za shule nilipeana ni 330, na hizi idadi zile ambazo zimejengwa ni karibu 100, hazifiki 200, kama 180 hivi. Zile zingine bado ni zile ambazo ziko katika shule za primary za msingi, na zingine pia ziko ni zile ambazo nasema shule ni 330 zote zile ambazo tunazijua, lakini zile ambazo zimejengwa, uliza zimejengwa ni hazifiki 200, ni kama takriban kama 180. So bado tuko na mzigo wa kuzijenga, lakini zile ambazo ziko ni vile ulitaja saa zile, ni zile ziko hali mbovu, ni zile ambazo labda ni za matope, zingine ni za kitambo, ziko kwa primary school, ni shule kama hizo. Alafu ile kutoka katika hali hiyo, okay, registered, zile ambazo zimekuwa registered, bado ECD zinakuwa registered. Kuna zile mikakati requirements ya shule kuregister. Lazima shule iwe na madarasa, iwe na vyoo, kuna zile health standards ya registration ya mashule. So kuregister shule ambayo haina hata choo, shule ambayo watoto wanakaa chini, shule ambayo haina majengo, inakuwa ni vigumu. So for us to meet, that's why nilisema tunajenga complete set, madarasa mawili, ofisi, store na vyoo viwili. Hiyo ni requirement ambayo shule inaweza kuwa registered. So we are working for that. Alafu pili, kuhusu mambo ya tender ni watu wanaomba kazi, wana apply. Kuna wale committee ambayo inabuniwa ya procurement committee, kuna evaluation, wanakaa chini, wanaangalia yule ambaye amefaulu anapewa kazi, hiyo kandarasi. So sasa ya kwamba mtu anajenga foundation anaenda zake, ama anajenga mpaka lenta anaenda zake, hiyo ni mpango wa contractor ambaye labda ameshindwa na kazi. Lakini kama ni kazi, unapeana kazi, mtu afanye kandarasi yake, amalize, alipwe, aende. Kuhusu malipo ya kwamba mtu amelipwa na hajafanya kazi, mimi kama waziri, kuna watu kila mmoja na kazi yake, na kuna engineer ambaye lazima atayarishe completion certificate. Ile changamoto ni kwamba ni kuwa na committee ya project committee ambayo inaweza kuhakikisha kwamba wale user department, wakati mtu anapolipwa, ili ujue kwamba ameshatekeleza wajibu wake, amejenga, ili apate kulipwa. Kwa hivyo kama mtu amelipwa, sijapata hiyo habari, lakini kama mtu amelipwa na hajafanya kazi, then hiyo ni tatizo ambayo iko katika ngazi tofauti ambayo iko chini, nitaifuatilia. Kuhusu under pressure, hakuna kazi under pressure, sababu kazi tunaenda na utaratibu, tunaenda na kazi regulation na sheria. Hakuna mtu anafanya kazi kivyake, unafanya kazi na sheria. Kwa hivyo hatufanyi kazi na pressure, na changamoto kubwa ni budget. Budget hakuna, haitoshi. Changamoto hizi ya mashule ambazo ziko hali mbovu, repairs ama kujenga upya, inataka budget, ambayo budget haipatikani. Ndio sababu nimetengeneza hiyo policy. That policy itatusaidia, kwa sababu hata kama county haina resource, that policy it is going to use to mobilize resources. Kuna other partners ambao with the policy they can be able to support in our ECD centers. So the changamoto in these issues ambao unasema ya hali mbovu ya madarasa ni budget tu ndio kidogo.
Honorable Maka Maimuna.
Bwana Waziri, mention at least 3 forms of expressions or combinations that comprise cultural expressions.
Cultural expressions is through cultural dances. We have traditions. We have the different cultures, and the different cultures we have the different dances for the different occasions. Another expression of culture is through the artifacts. The artifacts that each community does. And then another one is on the foods. The different foods for different cultures. So those are the expressions. And also some cultural heritage sites. So those sites are an expression of culture.
Honorable Riziki.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Bwana Waziri, swali langu ni moja tu, and it says, give me 4 functions of the Teachers Service Commission. 4 functions of the Teachers Service Commission in Kenya.
Okay, the functions of the TSC is hiring of teachers, that is staffing, and also firing of teachers, that is discipline, the training of teachers, and also registering of teachers.
Thank you, honorable members. Waziri, I have 2 quick ones for you. Kindly inform this committee the last time ECD centers were issued with instruction materials.
The second question, I didn't get it clear.
May I repeat it for you? ECD programs in Kenya faces various challenges which hinder their effective management. Can you kindly inform the committee what kind of challenges are these ones?
Okay, thank you. The last time the instruction materials were delivered was, I cannot get the actual date, but it was in the last financial year. For this financial year, there was no delivery. Then ECD challenges. The challenges we have is one, on the infrastructure. a graduate, a KCP class 8 graduate can be an ECD teacher those days. And then later it came to KCSE. But these days, this qualification has gone up. So for the ASAL areas, you find that we have challenges in getting the right qualified teachers in our teaching force. Then the other issue is the issue of monitoring and supervision as pertaining to the quality assurance and standards, which still is a challenge in the whole country, not only in our county, but even in the whole country, until such a time that the COG gives guidelines for monitoring and supervision.
So, Waziri, on the first question, remember you are under oath. I deliberately asked that question of instruction materials. Kindly you go back and find out when was the last time you issued those materials. May I now kindly allow Honorable Shabin to also ask question.
Thank you, Chair. I thought I was forgotten. Briefly, the question to the nominee is, what program will you put in place to nurture the talent of youth, create employment opportunities, and discourage them from engaging drug abuse? That's just a brief. You will tell us. The other thing is, I'm always presenting Salawat that for the last 5 years, nothing has been done about ECD. Children are footing almost 3 kilometers, 4 kilometers, 1 kilometer. Very painful. And some of them are learning under a tree also. Not only Sala, even Wayu, a place called Kotole, sometimes back, we have seen children learning under a tree. At this juncture, we are not expecting. For the last 10 years, we have been devolved county government, and this sector has been devolved. We are expecting an improvement, but no improvements in some of the wards. Can you explain to this committee, suppose you are given today again this position, will business be as usual? That's another one. Second, the question is, in Tana River, we don't have a functioning stadium. A stadium that is structured like a county, whereby today we can say it's well vanished. Why? Finally, there were ECD teachers employed some times back with the report of the County Public Service Board. Some 52, I think. Is it 50 or 52 of them were employed? 30 of them were from one community. Why does this happen? Do you have any say during employment that you make a distribution across the diverse community in Tana River instead of employing one community? So tell today this committee, what will you change from the previous regime if given this position? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mheshimiwa, for the question. About this, the youth, to nurture the youth talents and their skills. The program that we put in place is, first of all, we had established a Center for Innovation and Youth Empowerment. That center at all, as I said, is going to cater for all the youths of this country, and is going to ensure that we have a youth population that is empowered, that is healthy, free from drugs, protecting the environment, and to ensure that they participate in the decision making of this county. So that center there is one strategy that we are going to improve the talents and the skills for youth in this county. Secondly, we have engaged a number of capacity building trainings I remember last year alone, we trained 1,250 youths in various areas, in entrepreneurship, in issues of leadership, issues of they participate in the development of this county. So that is one way. The third way of employing the youth is we engage the youth to be active. You see, they say a devil mind an idle mind is a devil's workshop. So we want to ensure that our youth are engaged, either in football or in trainings, the VTCs, getting some knowledge and skills. So we ensure that they are engaged. And that's what we have been doing. Capacity building, at least to engage them in those football clubs and what have you. And then also, we are trying to make sure that we involve the youth in decision making. In this country, you find that people don't attend public participation. But we told the youth, you are the majority in the trainings. You are the majority. So you hear of public participation, we have empowered them. They know their rights. They come there and get it. Then, issue of salary. You talked of dilapidated structures or no structures for ECD. That one, actually, I said the issue is budgetary. It's the issue of budget. We cannot run away from budget. And that policy, the only way is to have this policy implemented, the ECD policy, that enough resources are allocated. And this thing is multi-sectoral. It's not the issue of only my department. We need to multi-sectoral. For example, an ECD child-friendly center needs to have facilities like water, security, that is fence, toilets, good play materials. Those are components of a friendly ECD center. So it's multi-sectoral. It means if I put up a center there, then the Department of Water should bring clean water there. It's a multi-sectoral. So this policy document will ensure that we are going to offer those services. So lack of those constructions of your centers in Salawad is maybe due to budgetary implications, but right away we have already factored in. At least in every year, every ward, we take a project across the counties so that we cannot leave others behind. Then issue of the stadium functioning. Mheshimiwa, we can't compare our county with other counties. You know, Tana River has been marginalized before devolution, many years. But other counties, even before devolution, they had their stadiums functional because they had functional municipalities in place that time. So just come to our situation. It is this devolution that will make sure that we go as par with other counties. And it means that we have everything is a priority. So we have done one already at Hola, but it's yet to be completed. Right away we have set 30 million for completion of that stadium. So that one in this financial year, once completed, we shall have a functional one. Then, but in the future, we even have vision to have stadiums at sub-county levels. Then, ECD teacher recruitment. The department does budgeting for a number of teachers and also does request for adverts from the Public Service Board. So the mandate of advertising, selecting, interviewing, and selecting the best candidates is invested to the county public board. So we as a department, we just give in the qualifications of a teacher that we require. How the teacher is going to be selected, that one is a question for the county public service board. So I cannot answer the circumstances under which one community, as you said, were employed, 30 out of 52. That one, we in teaching profession, we don't talk of who is coming from where. We say everybody is equal opportunities, and everybody has the right. So how the teachers were arrived to that one is not within my area. it is within the County Public Service Board to answer this question. Then, I don't know whether I've completed your question.
Thank you. You've covered almost all the questions. Now we've come to the end of this session. Mr. Abbas, it's your time now. Whether you might have something to tell this committee before you leave.
Okay, thank you so much, the vetting committee, for this session. I want to appreciate, first of all, for having this opportunity to come before you the second time for this assembly to be vetted for the position of CC. And basically speaking, me, I come from Tana River. I was born here, and I worked here, but I've moved. I've gone to places, and I know issues of education at my fingertips. But then the only thing that I would like to give message to the people of Tana River and everybody is that ECD, or education in general, is a multi-sectoral approach. My department alone, or education department alone, cannot be able to accomplish all its endeavors towards improving the quality of education. It works elsewhere. We need to have a multi-sectoral approach so that we ensure that we offer quality, affordable education to our children through provision of budgetary allocation. Other counties, they put in more budget in education, but in our county it becomes it's a fighting, it's a war. I have to struggle every time there's a budgetary period. I have to struggle with the budgetary committee so that at least the budget is increased to level. So I want to thank everybody that if you give me opportunity to continue serving this county, I'm sure I will serve. I'm not here just because of favorism, but I'm here because of my hard work, my commitment, which is visible. Maybe that's why the Excellency, the Governor, appointed me to appear before you. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thank you. We've heard you, and we wish you the best. Before you take your leave, kindly confirm whether you have all your original documents with you. Okay. Sergeant Atan, you can kindly escort the nominee outside the chambers.